As I was reading this book called Mind State, I learned something very important. There are two extremes, and the key is to stay in the middle. These extremes are chaos and being too rigid. Now, chaos is the lack of structure, the all over the place, the everything is just out of whack. The rigid is the obsessive routines. The everything has to be in perfect place. The resistance to change. And the key to having a healthy mind, a healthy balance, is to find that middle ground between the two, where you have some structure from the rigid side, but then you have some openness from the chaos side. Now, when we drift too far, that's when our life feels out of whack. We feel like we either have too much control and nothing new is happening, or we don't have any control at all and we're just at the whim of life. This was very interesting to learn because in the book, the author uses an example of a choir, right? If everyone is just singing the same note that is like very boring and rigid, there's like no soul to it. But then if everyone doesn't pay attention to the note, doesn't match it, everything just sounds chaotic and a whole bunch of noises and sounds jumbled up together. But when there's that in between, when they reach that middle harmonious note, it sounds amazing. It sounds like pleasing to the ears, but it's true in everything that we do. There needs to be some creativity, but there also needs to be some structure. There needs to be a plan, but there also needs to be flexibility. If we don't have these things, we're going to continue to just constantly go bounce back and forth between the other or just stay on the opposite side, leaving our lives feeling soulless, honestly. So to learn from this, I think we all can apply this in a very unique way. Sometimes we have to sit down with ourselves and ask ourselves, where are we at? Which side are we on? Do we want to live a life of complete rigidity where we have no fun and we don't enjoy time with others? And I'll tell you guys an example. I know a lot of people who are on that side. Anything fun to them, anything out of their schedule, anything out of the ordinary, they're not doing it. But then over time, they tell me, like, hey, like my life feels lonely. I feel isolated. And it's like, yeah, because you never want to get out of your schedule. You never want to make time for other people because it will inconvenience you. And then you have the people who are having too much fun all the time. They're out every day, it seemed like. And then they're always saying, like, man, like, I don't know how to have progress in life. I don't know how to move forward with my goals. And it's like, yeah, because you don't have any structure. But then what if these two people learned from each other, where we created that structure, but then we also created that flexibility? We have our times where it's time to grind and put our head down and work, but then we also have our times to have fun. You know, life is meant to be lived, man. We don't want to just be constantly having to worry about the perfect diet and the perfect routine and the perfect video or the perfect script or the perfect whatever. But then if we just let everything go its course, we might not make any progress. This is key. Balance is key. A balanced diet is great. A balanced workout regimen is great. So the more that I grow older and the more that I learn, balance is becoming the key word. It will be hard for me to have a lot of friends if I don't make time for them because it inconveniences me. It will be hard for me to have the resources necessary to maintain relationships sometimes if I don't dial in on the structure. So we can use both. Let's be that choir line. Let's be that note, that song that sounds harmonious. We don't want to have it all chaos and jumping all over the place, and we don't want to be too boring and too structured. Let's find that middle ground. Because if we do, our life will progress and be more fruitful in so many more ways. I can guarantee it. So let's find that balance and continue to learn. Read Mind State. It is a great psychology book that I am learning a ton from. It will keep you in check, keep your brain and your thoughts flowing, and honestly help you learn lessons like this. So I definitely recommend that book. And again, one last time, let's find that balance.